is an ideology, but I don't adopt it for my own.
Well, it's interesting when we were on that subject because it is definitely a great philosophical question. The thing is, I think Dr. Susan Blackmore, excuse me, would say that, or maybe Dan Dennett, maybe, I don't want to speak for them. What I've learned from them is that even they have this built-in need for free will. So it's very hard to live your life without free will, virtually impossible. Now, what this posits, though, with being a this universe like this, also works in with me the question of we're probably not actually conscious. That's just an evolutionary trick, an illusion. So in a deterministic universe with the illusion of consciousness and free will, you pretty much gotta solidly be in the free will camp, or you're not going to stay sane. Evolution imbued spirituality and this idea of free will on us in so many ways, in who we are and how we're shaped. So virtually from a psychological standpoint, it would be impossible. What Dan Dennett does in his little glitch to me is that he talks about situational determination. So if I throw a baseball at your face, you can briefly move out of the way of that baseball. But that's about all you have. That's about the limit you have, is small little adjustments like that. But that's just a cop out because the brain needs to cop out. It's just impossible to comprehend that you have absolutely no control over your life.
I do think, though, I'm not a deterministic person. I think there is an element of chaos. Einstein famously said God does not play dice, but actually we've been able to see in the quantum world he does, or they do. There is a lot of randomness in the world, and sure, you could argue that maybe it's just laws that we don't yet know. But I disagree. I think on the quantum level, there is an element of randomness, and it's not deterministic. But the thing is, this is something that, again, it's something we can debate for hours, but we can't prove it either way, right?
Right.
Because it's a fun thought experiment. But to me, nothing really changes. Like, if it is deterministic, but to a level where we can't appreciate that, what's the point of being deterministic,
But here's the thing. What do we
gain from that knowledge?
Here's the thing. It's what I started out with. Why would you put someone in jail? And this is not me. This is cutting edge philosophy of science, philosophy, and law. This is talked about in circles, probably small circles, but legal circles. This has been going around for years, which is, should we really jail someone for robbing a bank? Well, how do you not put them in jail, right? They robbed a bank. But what you could do, if you believe that it was a deterministic universe, is give them a decent freaking jail. Like, if you go to jail in Sweden, hell, those guys live better than me. They've got little mini apartments with, a la carte food choices and shit, So would you treat your prisoners better, knowing that they couldn't help themselves? Yeah, you probably would. Would you change the laws in certain ways if it were, you lived in a deterministic universe? So to me, this is a moral decision as much as anything else.
Well, I mean, if we want to get into the morality of it, morally speaking, we should just abolish all prisons, right? But that's a conversation for another stream, perhaps. I'm curious, David, what do you think? Is the universe deterministic? Do we have free will? What are your thoughts on this?
I 100% believe in free will. As I just don't see the point of a system that was created by someone to just watch people do whatever they're meant to do each day. I just, let's take science out of it. Sorry, talking to a science person, let's take science out of it. But just my soul cannot accept that there are people put on this planet to come murder others and do horrible things. I don't accept that. So that's where I'm.
Well, I don't think they were.
And I won't go into it any further because honestly, my brain will explode. And I'm not a debater by nature because, my nervous system is just wired too sensitive for it. Oh,
well, we love you, Veda.
You know? I mean, I don't mind
Yeah.
it. It just hurts my brain. It's not
I
like
feel that.
people
Well,
can go do it all they want, but I'll just, ow. I have
if
so much going on up here that like makes no sense. It's like I need to free up as much space as possible.
But where do you lie on this debate, David? What do you think?
Well, it seems like we have free will. I mean, I can do what I want and all that. I've heard debate about that. That's an illusion, and we really don't have free will. But I don't know. I guess I think that is the case. You say quantum mechanically, of course, there is some randomness, but that's such a small level that it doesn't affect me on the macroscopic world so much. But still, I feel like I can do what I want and change things and all that. But at the same time, there might be a kind of destiny for everything in the end. I mean, even evolution, I suppose, had a destiny to come here.
Yeah.
Right. We seem to be, I guess, the first species to really think about this, I suppose, and feel like we have a conscious effort to change things. You don't really think your dog is going to, has a scheme in mind to change the world or whatever, but humans can and all that. So, so as Rush said, I will choose free will. So I think I'll do that.
That was beautifully said. I blacked out when I was talking.
well, that's if David and
all dream it.
if David and Deanna start talking cosmology too deeply, I hit a brick wall myself. But they both do it pretty well. That brick wall doesn't come up a lot.
What
No,
brick wall?
The point is to get you all through the brick wall, right? The point of
Yes.
science communication is so that we all learn things together. If you hit a brick wall, then we're not explaining things well enough.
Right. Yeah, that is true.
Exactly. I also think that sometimes I just need things explained in a different way, but
yeah.
But that's okay. We all need, things explained multiple times. I mean, literally, if you're writing a paper or something important and something that's important in there, mention it at least 2, if not 3 times if you can get away with it, because people need to hear things multiple times just to factor it in. But quickly, David, so you said there's some randomness. You did too, Deanna, but you said there's some randomness at the quantum level. But I've also heard argued that, I mean, our existence, our reality, this universe really isn't influenced much by that quantum randomness. So is it even injectable into our reality?
Behind you, Rev. The quantum mechanical influence is right behind you.
You won't have the CMB without quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
And therefore we wouldn't have galaxy or life on Earth without quantum
Well, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Just casually throw that into conversation.
Well, I won't linger on the subject, but it is a subject that I love a lot. I still haven't been able to have my conversation with Ian about consciousness. We haven't been able to get together, but I sent him a text a long time ago, or a tweet or something, and I said, broke it down. It was quite long, but the end of the story was that we're not really conscious, and I think, and Ian would say that, you kind of are right. I mean, I think neuroscience and neuroscientists 20 years ago would have said, nah, we're going to crack consciousness. No problem. We just need enough computer power, brain power, work. But now, some of these folks are saying, I don't know, maybe we can create artificial intelligence that could figure out why we're conscious, but they wouldn't be able to explain it to us. So consciousness may never be solvable for one of 2 reasons. One, we're not sophisticated to understand our consciousness from a scientific way. Our brains literally just aren't a big enough processor, or it's just not real and we never figure it out.
Just want to say thank you to everybody joining in the comments. Hey, Molly, and thank you
Veda
for the higher word.
I just woke up, Rev.
I did not that long ago either. And by the way, sorry, David, go ahead, but it's lovely to see you, Veda and David.
I thought I was in Los Angeles this morning. I left someone a voice note saying, thanks for reminding me to get roller skates. I've been wanting to get some from my loft. And then I opened my eyes and I'm like, oh my God, I've moved to Portland. So that's where I'm at. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be confused soon in 6 weeks. In 6
Yay!
weeks.
What's happening in 6 weeks, Doctor?
In 6 weeks, I am moving to Finland.
Finland,
next
okay.
week.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm moving to Helsinki.
Getting
I'm
even further
my-
north. You just keep going north. Germany.
I keep going
Belgium,
north. I
Finland.
don't like the heat, so I just keep going further and further north.
I heard there's a professorship at the North Pole
Fighting climate
available.
change your way.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
Sign you up?
No, but I'll be heading to Helsinki to start my
Okay.
next postdoc. So I'll be in Helsinki for at least 2 years.
Can
And
you-
I'm really looking forward to it.
Can you even wear shorts there? Does it get warm?
It does get warm. I think currently it's like 20 degrees. So it's
Oh.
warm enough for shorts.
That's not too bad. What
68.
isn't Finnish one of the hardest languages to
It is.
learn?
You speak it?
I do not. I've learned to say hello, which is hey, and I've learned that you can say hey to say goodbye. So I've basically learned one word that I can put together
Wow.
to make 2 words.
Hey, and now we all know it. Great.
Yeah.
And I know there's a couple of people here who do great broadcasts from Finland, and I'm trying to learn from them. I'm usually pretty good with languages. I speak 4 languages, and I'm usually pretty good with them. But so every time I try to learn Finnish, I just look at the words and they go from my mind. Like that did not stay long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very amused at Carrie's comment that you never finish learning Finnish. All
I
puns
love
are
that.
appreciated on my streams. I like puns, so please keep the puns coming.
Very impressive
But-
Spanish. That was very impressive. Not that I really speak it, but I could tell you could speak Spanish very well.
Well, I lived in Spain for 16 years, right?
Okay, well, that makes
I
sense.
did all of my education in Spanish and Catalan. So I'm actually a bit more fluent in Catalan than in Spanish, but I don't think many people would understand me in Catalan.
Right.
So default on Spanish.
I popped into
And
one of those Spanish broadcasts once. I had no idea what was being said, but it sounded great.
Yeah, I saw you in the comments. It was great to see you there.
Oh,
What was
Lucia
it?
says
Well,
your
there I go.
Spanish is perfect.
I think I have the issue that occasionally I slip in some random German words because my brain's got confused with so many
Nine.
languages.
I
Yeah.
couldn't even do a third. My brain, when I was trying to, I was like, I'm going to take Spanish when I got to college so I could learn it, right? So I'm like, might as well. And everything, my brain just wanted to convert to German. And I was like, this is too much. And it was going to ruin my GPA. So I dropped it. So Lucia's like teaches me a word a day, but we're failing.
Yeah, I think Spanish is a good language to go and learn with Spanish people.
Yeah.
Because Spanish people are always really friendly. And if you say you want to learn Spanish, they'll start shouting at you in Spanish and pointing at things and saying random words, trying to teach you. And it's always fun. I'll actually be back in Spain next week. Looking forward to that.
Nice. Isn't it
Ah,
hot there?
Lucia, you're trying to learn Catalan. Well, I'm happy to help with that if I can.
Are those what is Catalan like? Is it also is it a Romance language or is it
It's a Latin language, the same
Latin.
as Spanish, French, Italian. So it has similar origins. And for some things, it's very, very similar to Spanish. I think the grammar is the same, and some words are the same, but it is different. I would say it's in some regards it's closer to French than it is to Spanish. But I grew up close to Barcelona, so we did pretty much everything in Catalan, and Spanish was the second language there. But I think Catalan has a very nice ring to it when spoken.
I've never really heard anybody speak it.
Can you say something?
Sempre és la qüestió, no? Com diuen, posa't a parlar en català i mai saps què dir.
Something about Catalan. I heard that word.
Sounded great.
I said it's always the thing, you're asked to speak in another language and your mind blanks and you don't
Exactly.
know what to say.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. No, that's fine. I understand exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, it's always the thing, right? Someone says, oh, say something in this language, and you're something like, I've forgotten every word I know in that
I know.
language.
I hate it. I
Need a
can't
prepared
really speak
statement.
German, but sort of.
What the heck do you want me to say in this language? Say that in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Lucia says it sounds like someone speaking Spanish when you're not fully paying attention. Yeah, it's like you kind of understand it, but think, wait, is that Spanish?
I wouldn't have been able to
Spanish
know what
accent
that
happening.
was.
Yeah. You should be able to come back up, and I haven't uninvited you, so you should be able to come back up. It
Your
still
mom?
says that you're
Your
invited,
mom?
just in case. Yeah, she disconnected at some point. I've just resent the invite just in case.
Nice.
Always nice.
What
So
are you-
what is everyone
I'm-
doing for the hidden talents?
Well, I just learned what the theme was, so that's great.
Oh, that's the theme? Hidden talent?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I've got a big enough ego. I make my talents known.
Well, then make up a new one. I don't know.
Ooh,
Yeah, come up with a new one.
You
my
could do that
hidden
real
talent
quick.
would be hiding
I'll
my
pick one for
talents.
you, Rev.
Hidden talents. Neat.
Hula hooping.
Hula hooping
No,
is great
not good at it.
fun.
That I mentioned.
I'm not great at it, but hula hooping is great fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
I've been meaning to get a hoop now that I'm like moved in. Just, for like something.
You could combine it with the roller skates.
I know, a full circus. I used to be a fire eater, so I was like,
Yeah.
I will not take that out of retirement. That was risky. But
But you have video of that, don't you? Beta?
yeah, I do have video to remember that it was real and to prove, that it was a thing.
Oh, yeah. I don't. You have video out in the public of fire eating. I think I've seen it. Haven't I?
Didn't ever fire eat not in public.
Yeah.
You don't waste that on alone.
No, you don't do that at home alone. Just fire eat.
Fire eater
it's-
after dark. Come on.
Yeah.
No,
But I would-
I've retired.
Ange is back.
Yeah, for some reason
Hola,
it's
bona
not
tarda.
there we go. Bona tarda, com estàs?
Bona tarda. Com estàs, Diana? Tot bé?
Tot bé. M'encanta el nou pentinat.
Jo també. És una imatge molt maca. Sembla tu més que abans.
Més sincer.
So-
You wanted to hear
Exactly.
some Catalan, so
Is that-
we switched to Catalan.
Does your mom live in Spain right now? Is that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See. Yes.
Did you move, Ange?
I did. I moved to a little town just outside of, it's closer to Tarragona than Barcelona. And
Cool.
it's absolutely beautiful. And I have stunning views on my terrace.
Now,
Oh,
Angela,
that's awesome.
Your accent when speaking English is not what I expected. It's where's that coming from?
Well, if I be speaking to you in me proper English, me lover, I be down there in Devon. I'm a Devonshire lass.
I'm so glad I got rid of my Devonshire.
Okay, British.
accent.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh,
Yeah.
you had a Devonshire accent too? That would be great when you're doing your speaking as a physicist. I think you should go back to it.
Deanna, can you still do the Devonshire accent?
No, I've eradicated all knowledge of that from my brain.
All memory, right?
All memory, that definitely does not count as a hidden talent.
I don't know. We can. Somebody was mentioning in the comments earlier. I've got a pair of roller skates, and I'll give you the key.
Yeah,
So the
I got the
original
reference
song-
there.
Don't know if it was the original, but a version of the song went along the lines of, "I got a brand new combine harvester, and I'll give you the key. I got 40 acres, and you got 53."
I still can't believe that I knew that song. Like, come on, you and Dad played some amazing music and also some absolute crap, and that's definitely in the second category.
The same group who did that also did
Can I do that?
"Where Be That Blackbird Be? I know where he be.
He be up
He
that
be up
Wurzel
that
tree, and I be after
Wurzel
him.
tree, and I be after he.
With a
good
Wow.
ghostly stick, I'll knock him down.
Blackbird, I'll have you."
I'll have
Here we
you.
go. This is the hidden talents right here. Deanna has a Devonshire accent.
I do not have a Devonshire accent.
No, Deanna actually had dark matter completely eradicate the idea of Devonshire.
Exactly.
She sicked them on it.
No, gone.
Actually, David Howden has said, wasn't Darth Vader from Devon? I believe the actor, the tall guy who played him, actually was from Devon.
Yeah, I think
The
there's quite a few
Wurzels are
people-
still active on Twitter. I'm going to go
Oh,
look for
wow.
the Wurzels on Twitter. That's amazing.
I didn't know the Wurzels were still active in anything, let alone on Twitter.
Still alive, yeah. I mean, David Prowse, exactly. David
Prowse,
Prowse,
that's right,
the
that's right,
tall
yeah.
guy.
I'm very bad at remembering people's names, especially actors.
So
Vader, I
your
think you're
Devonshire accent
muted.
is not something you want to keep remembering then.
Yeah, I already have enough without. Now I get told that I sound German, that apparently I picked up enough German in my language.
Yeah,
So,
you do. You speak English with a German accent now.
yeah, I speak English with a German accent, German with a Spanish accent, and Spanish with a Catalan accent. It's a fun mix. At
And
least my
physics with a
Catalan
physics accent.
Yeah, physics is just physics accent.
Physics is a physics accent.
Yeah, it's its own world.
The quote of the day.
It's
Can
gotta
that
be
just
German,
it?
right? You got Albert Einstein, right? No.
On that note, I'm gonna have to drop down because I do have to do some things today, but I just couldn't resist this invite.
Yes, thank you for joining.
This was,
great to
you
have
know,
us both on screen
see you, Veda.
finally.
Sorry I'm not quite alive yet, but this was really nice to share screen with you guys.
So lovely to
Nice
see
to
you,
be on
Veda.
screen
Yeah,
with
nice
you,
to see you
Veda,
too, Rev. I can't
finally.
wait to give you shit about no free will. Just kidding.
We
Love
should
ya.
schedule
Anytime.
a discussion on that.
All right.
Yeah, we
bye,
should,
guys.
actually.
Have fun. I'll be in
Bye.
the chat-ish.
Awesome. So, yeah, we should definitely schedule a discussion on free will at some point, and then we can already prepare for it and like come ready,
But wait
come
a
with all
minute.
our arguments, and actually do a debate.
If we don't have free will, you could not possibly schedule.
It was already scheduled, man. It
Or
was
it's already
determined.
scheduled.
The Big Bang and that, they were scheduled. It was right on time.
It's right on time. A few minutes late. David says he thought I was German when you first saw my streams. Yeah, don't worry, I get that a lot.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
It's actually funny. Sometimes I speak to British people and I just mention, yeah, I'm British, and they look at me like, what, really?
British, like the aristocracy, the Germans that the royal family are.
So who is Will and why are we freeing him?
Will Robinson from Lost in Space. So that's the Will.
With the bad robot, right?
Yeah, the bad robot. Well, yeah, it depends on what version you look at. Yeah.
I saw the. I think it was fairly recently, maybe a couple of years ago. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it was on Netflix.
Yeah, the reboot. Yeah. That robot was a little more chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the June movie that's supposed to be coming out soon.
June
tell
the
me about
month
that.
Or June the.
Dune, the
Dune.
film.
Oh, Dune.
Yes.
Yes, and Isaac Asimov's Foundation. Like Apple, oh my gosh, they have pumped a ton of money into that. It better blow my mind, and I don't know how you're going to blow my mind with like a 9-book series, but
How long is it a series? Rev?
yeah, I think it's like a mini series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the only way you could do that.
Yeah, and Dune, is Dune going to be a movie, or is it going to be more like an 8-episode miniseries kind of thing? Do you know?
I think
Deanna?
it's like a 3-hour-long film that is planned. And I know
well,
it stars Zendaya, so it's
David
just
Lynch
worth
couldn't do
watching
it,
for
so.
that.
no,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm hoping this will be a good version. The trailer looked amazing.
just not having like a mention of the Orange Catholic Bible. Like, there are so many small things that tie in to why we're seeing what we see. There was a great debate on the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe years ago, actually, about, which is better, books or movies. It was just kind of a fun debate. But movies can give us so many things that books can't. And obviously books can have that, that richness to it and that depth. And I read Dune probably 5 times in my life. That is a book I'm quite a fan of, and it's because of the scope and the arc of the book, right? He creates languages and religions. It's like Tolkien. He creates an entire language, and that's a depth that you just can't get in 3 hours.
You have to go, David?
Yeah, I'm going to take off here. So.
Oh, thanks for joining. It was great to have you up on screen.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Good to see you,
Bye,
David.
David, nice to chat with
We'll
you.
be Rev and the Hoopers. So, all right. So.
Well, we should be able to find somebody else.
Get Joe on there.
That was Captain Subtext there as Rev saying, please don't leave me alone with the female hoopers. That's a scary prospect.
Are you kidding?
If
I'm ready.
anyone wants an invite up, just let me know. Today, everyone's welcome on screen. We're just here chat and chill with friends, celebrating my 200 days on Happs and just Happs appreciation, because this is an amazing platform and I will not get tired of saying that because I absolutely love it. This has got me back into streaming. I've met an amazing community here, made some great friends. So I'm looking forward to my next 200 days on Happs. So,
200 days.
200 days today, yes.
I should look how many I am. I think because I told you that sad story of I finally
Yeah,
didn't
that you
log
lost
in
your
one day.
streak. Yeah.
But the good news is I was with my 7-year-old and my 18-year-old at the water park for one of my son's friends' birthdays, and we had an amazing day. It was a
That's
blast
nice.
on the water
That's
slides.
worth
It was
it.
so fun.
Yeah,
I remember the
absolutely
last
worth it.
time we went to a water park. There's a pretty big water park in Spain, and it's close to where we used to live, and it was always great fun to go there.
Oh yeah, those are
Probably
so
not
fun.
allowed these days at the moment because,
Yeah.
you know, the word that we don't mention. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
That's just so
with the whole
crazy.
world closing down, it's. I actually went to an escape room on Thursday, and it was pretty. It was so well sanitized. It was brilliant. And you know, I don't know if anybody's been to an escape room, but sometimes if you're pretty useless at it, they give you a clue on the TV, kind of the monitor. And every 5 minutes or so, there was a reminder flashing up instead of a helpful clue, just a reminder saying, make sure you're not touching things that you're not allowed to touch and make sure you're wearing your masks. It was very, very sanitized. And it was actually, it was quite good because we were trying to escape from a locked room in a circus with no clowns, fortunately.
Still,
But
locked
there
room in
were,
circus is creepy.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And
I mean, there
like
were no
you don't like
clowns.
clowns, right?
I don't care about clowns, but it's just the whole idea of a circus in general is a bit scary. Well, not
Ooh.
scary,
Yeah.
just it has that creepy factor.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
remember
old.
the time, Deanna, when I actually performed in a circus for you?
I do. I remember you getting called up. A clown called you up on the stage, and you were doing the skip rope.
With an imaginary skipping rope, and then I had to hula hoop around the stage.
Yes, that
Nice
was
Yeah.
clown.
fun.
Yeah, nice
Yeah,
clown. Thanks, ma'am. Ah, yes, I like Bo with the clown and the water pistol. That's absolutely what I would be doing.
yeah.
I
The
mean, there's
escape room
two
was. Go
two
ahead,
types of
Wayne.
people.
Sorry.
Clown people and not clown people. I mean, it's just that's all you need to know, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know people who are neutral about clowns.
No, it
There's
doesn't seem
actually
there's
a
no
guy in the
neutrality.
UK. He just travels around the UK, turns up at different places. Maybe there's more. You never see him unmasked, and he acts exactly like the clown from It, Pennywell.
Oh gosh.
And he just stands behind a car in a car park, or just stands outside a supermarket, and literally just stands perfectly still, holding his balloons with the whole clown face and does nothing, doesn't move, just stands there like a clown statue, and then disappears into another town the next day. And it's like, what is wrong with this guy? Seriously.
A couple of years ago, when I was in Germany during my PhD, there were actually a group of people doing that around the city, around Aachen, where late at night they would come out dressed as a clown and scare people on purpose.
Oh
And it
my
got to
god.
the point that they made some people like fall off of their bikes.
Wow.
It was actually when I went out and bought pepper spray. It was like, if a clown comes at me at night, he's getting pepper sprayed, and I'm running out of there because you just stay away from me. If you're dressed like a clown and you're trying to frighten me, you're gonna get pepper sprayed.
You're gonna
And
get it.
after a couple of weeks, they all just like disappeared. But it was
Because
really
they'd all been
weird.
pepper sprayed in the face by the local physicist.
Just want to
Take
say,
care, Mineral Man.
thank you for joining. Thanks for being here. Great to see you in the comments. There was a really nice question. I'm not sure if you'll still be here for the answer, but in the 200 days, what has been the biggest highlight for me on Happs? And I think it's hard to choose one, but actually, I think one of my highlights was when I did the water forecast. So I love that we now have these weekly themes that bring us all together, and we all have to come up with cool ways of incorporating the theme. And one of the first themes was the water challenge, so Happs Water, and we had to go out and talk about water somehow. And I prepared a broadcast about where in the solar system can you find water. And it's one of the ones that I've had the most fun preparing. And I got the most response from the audience. So everyone was super engaged. It was really fun. I feel like I learned, like a lot of people learned. It was probably one of the broadcasts I've had the most fun in. So that's one of my highlights on Happs. That was a really, really fun experience, I think. Oh, we're getting to see the town by night.
Oh
Yeah, I thought
wow.
I'd come out and show you. This is a little bit of my view here. It's very, very pretty at night. It's better view on the back terrace, but the internet is not so good. So here you can see a little bit of the mountains that surround my little town. It's
How
also
far away
crazy
are
with
those
all the dogs
mountains?
now. It's like dog party out there.
How far are the mountains, Ange?
I have no internet back there, so it's a trade-off.
Yeah, I think the internet's low and can't really hear us properly.
Yeah.
When you're here next week, you can fix my internet for me.
Sure. I'll pass that on to my partner to do.
But there you go. This is my so if I'm on my swing, this is my view of my swing.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see it here, but on a sunny day, you can actually see the Mediterranean Sea in the background there. It's not
Oh,
a bad
wow.
view.
Holy crap. I'm living in the wrong place.
Definitely. It's so
What's
pretty there.
What are the winters like?
I haven't been in the winter in this part of the of Spain, but it's going to be pretty mild up until December, when it's going to be very cold, freezing.
So I have I hate to be always the bummer, but it makes me think. So I don't know the name of the sea, quote unquote, that brings water from the Gulf to England and the continent there. I mean, London is further north than New York. I mean, but it's got weather more like, maybe Virginia or something. I mean, but that sea has no longer is traveling to Europe. The warmth of the planet, the different influences that all the global climate change things have happened, that has stopped, or even to maybe start to flow the other way. They've just noticed this. They're just looking at this. Hopefully it's something that I'm sure they know of that happens once in a while, but that they're mentioning it now could be a bad news for Europe if this thing continues to not bring warm water to Europe. It will totally change the climate of Europe. But, there's no global climate change. It's all fake.
Yeah, I think we could get into that in depth, perhaps in another stream.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, we've known this for years. There is the famous Exxon report from 1980 from the oil company, where they laid out in a report exactly what was going to happen if we abuse fossil fuels. And they hid this because money. Yeah. At some point, we're going to have to hold these people accountable. We're going to have to hold the big companies accountable. Getting a tour of the home now.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping that the internet will survive until I go out the back.
Oh,
because
good.
the view out the back is really nice, but I don't know how much of the internet I'll keep. But the view is really pretty out here.
Internet's getting a bit spotty there.
So, you still have me?
Video is frozen.
Hear me?
Yeah, I think we have you back now.
All right, so that's the continuation of the mountain. Maybe not. I don't know if you can still hear it.
No, audio's breaking up a bit too much.
So you can't see my beautiful town?
We can see bits of it, but video and audio isn't great.
I'll head back.
Yeah, we lost your video and your audio there.
That's a shame.
So when I was saying just now
it's good that I didn't fall over a cat on the way.
Yeah, good that you didn't fall over a cat. So when I was saying just now about the water broadcast, which I really enjoyed, I saw lots of love again for the Planet Olympics, and I'm really glad that everybody enjoyed my Planet Olympics broadcast, because that was an absolute blast. I had a great time preparing it. It was a lot of work to prepare, but I really enjoyed the Planet Olympics, and I'm really happy to see that everyone else enjoyed them as well, because I wasn't sure how that would go down.
So much fun.
It was fun. I really enjoyed that.
Really good fun. It was actually, I thought the water program was very, very good, but the Olympics was just another level, because it was so interactive, and there was so much love and competition between I think Pluto and Saturn followers were kind of they're like super Pluto, or super Saturn or super Pluton.
Yeah, well, actually, I think Pluto cheated, because Pluto shouldn't even have been in the Planet Olympics. So if anyone cheated, it was Pluto. But don't tell Pablo I said that.
Oh no, Pablo was very, very much in Pluto's camp. But it was such a good fun thing that if you get the opportunity to do that again, I think we'd all love that.
Yeah, next time I should do like an exoplanet Olympics.
Oh, I love it. And the other planets, the ones that are kicked out of their solar systems, what are those called? Rogue planets. I heard a thing the other day that they think there could be like billions and billions of rogue planets in our solar system alone. That's crazy.
Rogue planets are amazing. So just so everyone's on the same page here, rogue planets are planets that are not orbiting a star, either because they've been kicked out of their solar system or because they just never found a star to orbit around. So these are planets that are just traveling freely, doing their own thing, which means that obviously they're not bound to a star, so they don't have their own natural light. But despite that, there are models where you could actually have some type of life underneath on a surface underneath. So if you imagine like an icy surface and underneath there could be liquid, and this could be geothermally heated. So you could actually have some life forms on these rogue planets traveling throughout the universe. And that is pretty cool. And I realized I wanted to mention it before and got distracted. If you want to learn more about these topics, you should absolutely check out the Quiz Gazette YouTube channel. Now, I should mention I'm not sponsored by Quiz Gazette. I just absolutely love their videos. So that's Quiz Gazette in a nutshell. They do very, very cool animations on various topics. They have a video on rogue planets, which is really fun. And they also have a whole series on consciousness, which is also pretty fun to listen to if you want to check that out as well. So if you get the chance, do check out the Quiz Gazette channel because it is definitely worth it.
Can you put that in the chat?
I can indeed.
Awesome.
I can remember how to spell it. Now I'll just put the name. I can actually throw in the YouTube link later on.
So I definitely want to watch the water one because I didn't see that. But you were looking for liquid water outside of Earth?
In the solar system, yes.
Right. We're talking liquid water.
Well, I didn't specify initially. The title of the stream was "Where in the solar system can we find water?"
Gotcha.
We did actually.
That's fine.
We did do liquid water. No, we did liquid. We did a bit of ice, but we mainly focused on liquid because there are several moons in the solar system that have oceans underneath the layers of ice.
Right.
So we went. We talked about Mars. We talked about Europa, and we talked about Enceladus.
Oh, Mars, Europa, and Enceladus. So, one of them has a super thick layer of ice, for sure. At least one.
Enceladus.
Yeah, and they've talked about trying to drill through that ice, but if I remember right, I think it's farther than, or it would be challenging to drill that far on Earth and doing it remotely from space with a robot without a crew of 50 people shoving pipes down there. That's a challenge.
The good thing is, so you wouldn't directly drill. You would basically heat the ice gradually and melt it down, right? So you kind of melt your way down. They are developing techniques to do this. In fact, when I was in Aachen doing my master's and my PhD, there was a research group. Oh, we just saw cats. It's very dark where you are, but we can make out the outline of a cat. So there was actually a research group in Aachen that was working on this type of technology needed to drill down. So I attended a few seminars about it. And
cool.
They are working on it. It's super interesting. And I think a lot of people got interested when we just like mentioned rogue planets and moved on. Maybe I can do a whole broadcast about rogue planets because it's a fun topic. There's a lot to say. Hey, we've got a tango on screen.
Yeah, that's because the rogue planets and tidally locked planets. So you could have a planet in the Goldilocks zone. You know, let's just take that Goldilocks zone as it is, and forget the star size and everything. But a planet in the Goldilocks zone, but it's tidally locked. You could have geothermal energy and volcanic energy that a strip around the planet could be good enough for life. Now, atmosphere and all that's not probably going to happen, but you could have, obviously we know we have life on these vents, these volcano vents, deep in the ocean, and there's but you could have all kinds of very small life. And can you imagine on a rogue planet, like, if there's life, first thing I'd want to know is there DNA? Because if you find DNA, just the double helix, not maybe, it'd be cool to find a triple helix, right? Something totally different, but a double helix on a rogue planet, that would say so much for life on Earth, right? Because
Definitely.
if the DNA was ubiquitous in the universe, man, that would be really profound. And then to find life that has no DNA in it, like, that'd be crazy too. Like, we don't know any other life but DNA life, right? So how does that even come up? How does it
Yeah, I
evolve?
mean, it's a thing, right, that we very much have an Earth-centric view on life. We think all life needs to be carbon-made, for an example.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also have viable silicon-based life forms. It's just not something that we've seen here. But silicon instead of carbon would be a natural substitution.
What would that like? So, because I've heard that said so many times, but so silicone-based life form. Give me that would be like, I don't even know how to grasp silicone at this point, because we are base carbon, right? So what does that mean when we say we're carbon based?
Oh, it's just about the main atoms in our body and
Oh,
how they
okay, there you
bind
go.
together, right? When we say we're carbon based, I think I can't remember the exact number, but if you give me a minute, I'll bring it up on screen because I do have an image of how much of your body is made up of each element in general. I just need to find it because this is not one of my default images. I have a whole folder for Happs images, and it's gradually getting bigger and bigger. And I
And the
keep
first
throwing.
one in the folder is always the CMB, of
Of
course.
course. Oh, you're still here. We lost your video.
Oh, yeah, I turned the video off. I'm actually heading out. I just wanted to say good evening to Rev, good afternoon, and I might come back in the chat comments. It's been lovely to chat to you all, and Tango took a starring role just now, but I will I will pop back and see you as a guest rather than as a participant in a bit.
Oh, thank you for joining. Always great to have you here.
Thanks for showcasing your fabulous hair.
And
soon, in 10 days or so, we can do a stream together, actually in person.
Yeah, let's do one together. I think we had a while ago the Super Duper Hooper chat show.
The Super Duper Hooper chat show. We need to do the second edition of that.
So we need to do that from the terrace with a cat or two.
Yep, or 6.
Or 6. All right.
So you're going to visit your mom?
Yeah, on the 23rd, Monday next week, I fly to Spain for 7 days.
Nice.
Then I fly directly from there to Helsinki for 5 days. So I have to pack for 34-degree weather and 17-degree weather. So that's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, that is going to be fun.
It should be quite straightforward. Just pack double the amount you want here, and then just wear everything twice there.
Yeah, exactly. Just wear 2 pairs of shorts. That somehow works.
Exactly, 2 pairs of shorts, two tops. That works. Nice chatting to you, Ev. Again, it's good to see you.
You too, Ange.
You take care, and good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everybody in the chat. Everybody here in the comments. 34 and 17 both sound code.
Yeah, obviously I'm using Celsius and not the weird scale that you Americans use.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, 34 is about 98.
No, 34 should be about, it should be about that.
I think it's somewhere, it's in the upper 90s at least. So you're welcome. I have plenty of spare rooms here. If anybody wants to come and check out the Tarragona weather, you're welcome to come.
Well, I'm booking my flight.
Stay here. Yeah, book your flight, and as long as you're not cat phobic, you're good, because there's always a cat around somewhere.
Or 6.
I'm good with cats.
All righty, I'll chat to you all later. Take care. Nice chatting to you all.
Bye.
So you got us a graph.
37 is roughly body temperature. So yeah, it's currently about 34 to 35 degrees in Spain, and then it's about 17 going down to 12 in the evenings in Helsinki. So that will be a fun difference for me.
Just quickly
So
on temperature difference, I was in Chicago for legit, not wind chill, 25 below. Got on a plane, flew to LA, and it was 75. So there was 100-degree temperature difference for me in like 4 hours. It was
yeah.
it was crazy. It was nuts.
Thank you, Bo. Yeah, it's always so nice to have you in the comments. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for your nice comments and your jokes. It's always great to have you here.
Great to see you, Bo.
So I'm not sure if you can see on screen, I brought up an image of the average composition of a human body.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just put it full screen a minute so that people can see this better. So we're approximately 65% oxygen, about 19% carbon, 10% hydrogen, a few percent nitrogen, and the rest, I need to turn off the banner for the top. But the last one at the top should be others.
Oh, others.
So if we're thinking of a silicon-based life form, you would basically change the carbon for silicon. And the reason this could work is because carbon has kind of 4 free places where things combine to it. Its atomic structure has 4 free places. So does silicon. So silicon behaves very similar to carbon. So you could envision, and I am by no means an expert on this topic,
Right.
you could envision a life form made of silicon instead of carbon.
So with the obviously not being an expert and speculating, could conceivably, if we can have carbon-based, whether we're conscious or not, thinking humans, and I know we're very human-centric in terms of bipedal and all that stuff, but it's possible then that there could be, I could be silicone-based and kind of be who I am.
I'm not sure. It would very much depend, right? Because here, life on Earth has evolved in a very carbon-centric way. Pretty much anything around us has some amount of carbon in it. So in order for life to form from a silicon-based ingredient type thing, you'd expect the circumstances that led to that to be very different, right?
Sure.
So could it lead to intelligent life? Potentially. Would it be the same as us? Probably not. But I'm not completely sure how it would change. I'm pretty sure people have looked into this, just not me.
Yeah, I've never looked into it any depth because I haven't thought about it, but it is really an interesting concept. And even back to the rogue planet idea, or the, imagine how many worlds there are like Enceladus or something, that are, encased in ice, but have a thoroughly, well controlled environment and atmosphere in the water, like with the, I don't know what the number would be of potential planets in the universe that could have life on them, not just our solar system, but I can't even imagine there is a number big enough for that.
It's a very big number.
It would be trillions times like trillion power or something. It would be nuts. But if you had a setup, I mean, dolphins evolved, to this point, and they're pretty intelligent. Not having thumbs hasn't helped them. But I mean, it's conceivable that, to me, that there could be a water-based life form that's intelligent. I mean, dolphins are intelligent, and they do.
I wouldn't go for dolphins there. I would go for octopus, because octopus are ridiculously smart.
Yeah, that's true. They are. There's
always fun stories about octopus. Like one scientist was doing experiments with an octopus, and had him in a tank and was feeding him. And the tank was closed and supposedly well closed in, so the octopus couldn't escape. One day, the scientist gave the octopus a fish that was slightly rotten. And then the scientist went back to work. And like 5 minutes later, the octopus climbed out of his cage, climbed across the room, and threw the fish at the scientist, kind of in indignation, like, "You gave me a rotten fish." So clearly the octopus did know how to escape. He just had chosen not to.
And it also knew to be pissed off.
Yeah, at this like rotten fish that he climbed out and threw it at the scientist in indignation. It's ridiculous. Like, if octopus wanted to, I'm sure they could take over the world.
There are crazy stories about those that I think about, and places they can get in and out, right? That
That they
you know,
shouldn't
it's like
be able to.
no, right. I mean, like a mouse can get in, through like very tiny places or whatever. But I mean, octopus are like, I don't know if I'm 100% right, but like a pretty big octopus can like get through like something like that,
Yeah.
and they are like they do interesting things in experiments and stuff like that. And there's this crazy internet theory that is totally not true that the octopus are proof that that there's life out there because they're just too different to be have evolved here. You know what I mean? But
I mean, they definitely evolved here. Evolution is just amazing like that. I do want to mention the comment here from David, because we were talking about this silicon life. David says, my organic chemist friend is very skeptical that you could get the diversity of complex molecules you do with carbon and probably needed for life. So that is super interesting. I'd actually love to do a stream about that. It's not a topic I'm well versed in. So if you can convince your organic chemist friend to do a stream about this, that would be great. Actually,
yes,
I'll talk to George, Elisa, and Ian and see if we can put together something about that, because that would be really, really fun.
that is a cool idea.
I have a very long list of streams I want to do at some point. At some point, I should actually go through all of the long list of streams I want to do. But then I get distracted because I was planning a couple of streams, and then it's like, oh, Happs Olympics. So then all of my energy went into preparing Happs Olympics instead. And I'm not sure how much I'm going to be streaming in the next 2 months, because I am moving country in 6 weeks. And it's going to get me why I still need to pack. I need to obviously settle down. So I might be a bit less frequently on Happs for the coming few weeks.
Are you excited?
I am really looking forward to the move. I am really excited about it.
That's really cool.
It's on the one hand scary, right? Because it's new country, new job, new house, new language. So it's a lot of big stressful things, but it's also an adventure. And it will be my 5th time moving country, so the 6th country I will live in. So I've done it a few times by now, but every time it's scary, but also fun. And I think every time I do it, I stare at my book collection and think, why do I have so many books? Now I need to move these books to another country. And then I move, and every birthday and Christmas, when people ask me what do you want, my response is book, get me books. And then it's just more books that I have to move. And now I'm going through that process again of staring at my very large bookshelf and staring at the moving boxes and thinking, why am I doing this again?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Now what is the time you're going to be there? How long?
At least 2 years.
And oh yeah, right. At least 2 years. So that practically means that, sorry, we're getting into the postdoc weeds here a little bit, because when we talked before, that practically means that you almost have to start looking for something else right when you start work. It's like being a congressman.
Yeah, this is a problem in academia, because we don't have long-term job security. When you get to the stage of being a professor or having tenure, great, you have your secure position, and it's very difficult to get you out of that position, which is why people in those positions get away with a lot. But that's a whole other conversation. Obviously, every step you take in the career, there's fewer positions available, and a lot of people who want them. So we have no sense of long-term job security when we're doing our PhD, when we're in this postdoc phase, and we have to invest a ridiculous amount of time every few years to apply for the next position. Right? You think how much more work I could do, actual research I could do, if I didn't have to write 50 cover letters and customize my CV for every individual place and chase all of the people to send my letters of recommendation. Some places try to be nice about this. There are some standardized systems that make it a lot easier, and universities that use those standardized systems, it's greatly appreciated, but others don't. So I did applications last autumn. So application season is always 1 year before you start your position in academia. So I did my application season kind of September, October last year. And then positions are offered kind of December, January time. But that means that I did it in September, October. I spent a ridiculous amount of time in it. Very, very happy with how it went. It was a very positive overall experience this time. But then, yeah, I start my position and 1 year in, and I will have to do the same again because my next position is 2 years. But there is a possibility of maybe extending it to 3. There's also some bigger grants I want to apply for, which are more longer term positions, like 5 years. But I will have to apply again. And it's always the thing in academia.
When do you like get where do you have to be that like you can start applying? Like, do you have to land at a school and become like an assistant professor and then become a professor? Hope you become a professor, or
it very much depends on the university and on the country. But at least in Europe, you can look for kind of a not really assistant professor, but a more junior professor is how they phrase it here. A junior professor position, which then might be made into senior, it might not. I know junior professors who are applying for positions again because it's only a 5-year position again. So the thing is, at the end of the day, you have to have really good timing, you have to be lucky, and you have to have a good CV. But there's a lot of people who deserve to be in academia who don't get a professor position because they weren't lucky. And there are some people who get it because they were lucky. And we know this, that it's a lot of what you do, it's who you know, and there also is a luck factor because you need the position to be available at the time when you need it.
Right. And I would say that I'm not dismissing, 1,000 years of, Western thinking or whatever, but the idea of a professorship in a sealed position, the purpose in so many ways is, one of the purposes is it gives you that academic freedom to experiment, right? To be not worried that, your failed experiment is going to cost you your job, because it takes that pressure off, because it's the kind of job where you could work in your job for 30 years and realize, oh no, I was wrong. And you got to move on. Hopefully it doesn't take 30 years, but I mean, these things happen. So that protected position is important, but it's also not a good system. It doesn't work. It's horrible. And it needs to be like totally rethought, like from the ground up.
Yeah, I think I am seeing gradually more and more people fighting to change the system, though. And I do think a lot of people are aware that this is not sustainable going forward. So there is a big push to make academia better, and it's going to be a slow and gradual process. And I think, some changes need to happen. And still, I complain about how it goes, but I'm still one of the lucky ones. I have a lot of privilege that other people don't have, and I was able to have a successful application round, and I'm very, very happy with my next position. I'm really, really happy about it and where I'm going. But that doesn't take away from how draining the application season is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And it just doesn't make sense. And that you say it's going to take a long time to get through this. We used to do in America, we had huge research grants to universities and everything. Corporations eventually, found a way to get their hand in it and get the government to not put out that money. But the point is that universities, from cosmology to biology to medicine, universities like have driven change and progress in our society since they were invented. You know what I mean? Like they're a key component to our civilization, honestly, and they're not working anymore. So we need to think about this, not even just from a equity position, which we do, but we also need to just think of it as it's not sustainable in a lot of other ways either, for students and fees and everything. And we need our brightest and best people secure in their jobs. It's like if you get to a certain point and you're certainly well qualified and we need you, then you go on you get knocked up to the notch where it's like, yep, They never lose their job. They get paid, and maybe the government does it. I know big government, but it needs to be different. I don't know how you reimagine it, but
Yeah, I think part of the problem here, which we also do need to mention, is that we are currently at the most educated part of humanities history, right? There are more
mhm.
PhD students than ever before. There are more PhD graduates than ever before. And where do all of these go? Of course, not all of them want to stay in academia. But if every year you get more people willing to do a PhD and completing their PhD, but you don't open up more professor positions, then there is going to be this bottleneck. But
Mhm.
the problem is a professor position or tenure track position is very expensive. So who's going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for it? There
Right.
are lots of solutions out there. There are lots of people thinking about this. And I believe that the current system is not sustainable and we do need to improve it a lot. But it's going to take time to change it. It's not something we're going to change overnight.
Well,
I,
interestingly, in the U.S., for a lot of PhDs, you know, that you don't have to pay, right? I mean,
which is
it
ridiculous.
right. Everything's
PhD students
paid.
account the staff.
What's that?
PhD students put in so much work. PhD students, PhD candidates, they put in so much work, they should count
Right.
the staff. You know, to me, it was completely unthinkable to take a PhD position that did not pay me. Partly
Well,
because,
no, no,
I
no.
need money to live.
No. I didn't mean that. I misspoke. What I meant was you don't have to pay for school at all, and they
Right.
pay you something.
Yes,
Right.
that is a case in Europe.
In Europe, it is the same way. Yeah, no, that's the way it
Not
is
in
here.
every country, not in
Right.
every
And not
European
in
country, but in most of them.
here, it's definitely not in every field. You know what I mean? I don't think that's necessarily the case in the humanities, but I don't know for sure. But in the sciences, and in psychology and some of these things, that's kind of covered. And we used to cover that through big grants and everything. And now corporations are getting their hands in it. And to me, if anybody knows me, they know that I think communism is conservative, right? So I'm not about government at all, but what I'm about is civil society and civilization, and equity and everything we need. But something like academia should be like a kind of quasi governmental thing, meaning we all contribute to it.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot that still needs to change. I want to change the topic very slightly and just reply to a
Please
comment
do.
from Paul. So Paul asked if being a science communicator helped or hurt me in getting a position, or did they not care? That's a super interesting question. And honestly, I'm not sure how much it may have helped or impacted my cases, my position applications. That's what I was looking for. I know some people still frown upon outreach because if you're doing outreach, you're not doing research. So some places kind of frown upon it, some places like it. It very much depends. I think there's gradually more and more places that are learning to appreciate this. It's also very odd, right? Because I know professors who don't really like outreach much, but the funding agencies do. So then it's like, I don't really want people to do outreach, but if people do outreach, it looks good on me because then the funding agencies like it. But I've also read stories of people who are very well known science communicators who have been outspoken that being a science communicator hindered their progress to tenure track. And unfortunately, that does happen, but I do think there is a gradual shift, and I think people are becoming more and more appreciative of the importance of science outreach. Now, I will say that currently, at my current group, there is not much outreach happening. In fact, the only outreach happening is the outreach that I do. So currently, all of the science outreach that I do is on my own time. It is not work time, right? It doesn't come out of my 40 hours a week, which should be 40, sometimes more, which is not something to be proud of, by the way. So all of the outreach I do, all of the time I put in preparing the broadcast on Happs, that comes out of my own free time. That is not something I'm paid to do in any way. But I know there are some positions that do value this, and that if you're doing outreach, it kind of counts as part of your job, right? You are doing outreach, that should be part of a scientist's job. So I think it very much depends. Now, I do know that some positions that I applied for had a comment along the lines of, experience in science outreach is appreciated. Your experience in outreach will increase. It's not a necessity, but it's good if you have this.
That's awesome.
Honestly, I was really happy to see that in applications. Like, okay, let me just send you all of my science outreach stuff. I also know that in Helsinki University there is a lot of science outreach, and I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what I can do there because I know it's a topic that they care about a lot, and I have the impression going in that I'm going to be able to do more science outreach and enjoy it more. So yeah, it very much depends. There's some people who value science outreach, there are some who don't. But I think there's gradually a shift to more and more people realizing that outreach is an important part of a scientist's job.
And that a department at least was recognizing that as a good thing. I mean, that's Carl Sagan would, say that's a pretty big step.
It was amazing when I was seeing these job adverts saying experience in science outreach is appreciated. It's like, oh wow, okay, let me just apply now, because that signifies an overall change in mentality, I think.
Yeah, that's a big change in mentality. And I'll tell you, having the science communicators on Happs, out there, everywhere. I mean, one of the areas that it's really, because journalism has taken such a huge financial hit, and news is harder and harder to hear about because of the inability to have enough people to cover it. But science journalists have taken a pretty big hit in the ones that are like actual scientists and journalists. Those are rare anyway, and they get a premium. And so most science journalism now is just, in America, is just somebody reading a press release and, it also does sports or something. It's really bad. So you guys are doing a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, Happs is the best platform for this. Again, let me just mention how much I love this platform, because really, Happs offers us so many tools. Apart from the broadcast studio where I can bring this stuff on screen, the ability to collaborate here. I mean, we've done a few science collaborations here where we've brought all of the Happs scientists together. We've done, I think, 3 or 4 now. They've branched off. There are subsets of the scientists doing these. And just this ability to bring scientists together and to bring the community together, I think Happs is really the place to go for this type of thing. And that's why I'm advocating for more people to join me. And people might have seen a couple already a month ago. We had this big conference, and we did all of the conference outreach here on Happs, 6 streams over the course of 2 weeks.
It was awesome.
It was exhausting, but it was really, really cool. And to see so many people engaged. And I can tell you that we've now got a group that was created thanks to this, of cosmologists talking about live streaming, how we're going to do it, what we're going to do. So things are in action, things are rolling, and I like this. I like that there's obviously going to be more stuff happening here.
Keep me up to date.
There is another cosmologist who's already joined. That's Sean Hotchkiss. The username here on Happs is Trenches of Cosmology.
I have seen them.
He started doing his own cosmology show here on Happs as well. So I think there's going to be more science on Happs in the future, definitely.
That's awesome. And yeah, keep me apprised of all the scientists that joined, because I like having scientists on my show as much as possible. And if they already know what they're doing, that's great.
Right. I wanted to ask you if you had a date for the last one I sent you, but I'll ask you that later.
Okay. Wait a minute. The date for the what?
I sent you a scientist to have on your show, and I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, thank you. I will get back in touch. We just no, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, let me know when that happens.
I will. Oh, I will. I will. And thank you. Yeah, I've had a, difficult couple of months here. But yes, I will I'm so excited, actually. Yes. And yes, send me all the scientists you want. Scientists are great. When I'm telling people,
more scientists here on Happs.
Yeah, when I'm telling people about Happs or what I've been doing over the last 6 months and where everything's gone, I always talk about the different kind of guests and everything I have, but I always am super excited to talk about whenever we have scientists on, because, one of the things I love doing the most is just learning. And when I have scientists on the show, I mean, I want everybody to enjoy it, but I also do it because I get to learn stuff usually. And that's awesome,
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm going to wrap up the stream. I was planning on 1 hour. I've been on for
Hmm.
1.5, so I think it's
Ooh,
definitely time to wrap up. It is 10 o'clock here. And tomorrow I have a busy day planned of packing boxes and getting ready for moving country.
it's so awesome, though. I'm so excited.
It's going to be fun. I'm also really looking forward to doing broadcasts, streams, I should call them, sorry, streams from Finland. And I'm actually quite happy because now I finally have a new phone. My old phone was with me for 5 years. It was a bit old, and my phone could not handle Happs. It was completely my phone's fault. It's still running on like Android 5 or something stupid like that. So it could not handle Happs, which meant I couldn't do streams outside. But now I have a new phone, so now I just need to figure out a good data plan, and then I can actually start doing streams outside. So maybe I can do a hiking stream in Helsinki when I go off to visit
Ooh,
the
oh,
forest.
that would be so cool to show us Helsinki over the couple years that you live there. That would and Finland. I mean, that would really be neat because Finland. That's one of those places that, like, okay, the last time I heard anybody mention Finland prior to talking to you could have been 5 years ago. You know, like it's a place we don't hear about a lot.
Oh, there's actually a couple of streamers here on Happs that are in Finland and show us around. I forget her name. Rachel? Uh, I remember she's part of the tree huggers and is setting up an international competition of tree hugging in Lapland, north of Finland. Does amazing broadcast. Was on the Travel Takeover, and I'm completely blanking at the name. Sorry for
Oh,
that.
okay.
But yeah, there are some amazing streamers here from Finland that show us the nature there and take us out. There's a couple who walk around Helsinki already showing the city. So there are already people doing that on Happs, but yeah, I think it's just another thing that Happs is so international.
It is crazy. And your friend here, David, says, must admit, whenever I see a physics story in the news, I now think I'll ask Deanne about that. Me too, all the time.
It's
I'm
always
like
good to hear.
having a cosmologist that you can just access by coming to Haps and chatting. It's pretty cool.
I've just refound the name of the person, this Rita, who does amazing broadcasts from Finland.
Oh, awesome.
I'm just going to
Put her in
post
the,
the link. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Well, thank you, Deanna. It was so fun.
Thanks for joining. It was great fun. Just chat and chill. Wasn't planning on doing physics. We ended up talking about free will. As usual, we have great fun discussions. Thank you to everybody who joined on screen. I think we had 5 different people here today. This was great fun. Thanks everyone for being here. And thanks to everybody in the comments. It's been very engaged, very lively. I see lots of discussions among yourselves as well. So I will not be online tomorrow on account of the fact that I will be boxing stuff up and packing. So no stream from me tomorrow. Next weekend there will probably be a stream, and then I head off on holidays for 2 weeks, and we'll see what streams I do on my holidays. So I won't be on Happs so much in the next week. Maybe I decide to do a hidden talent one. I'm still thinking if I can do like solving the Rubik's Cube in under 1 minute and count that as a hidden talent or not.
Ooh.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I do a hidden talent one. Okay, I'm going to end it here. Thank you everyone for joining. Thanks, Rev, for being here with me. Thanks everyone who joined me on screen. I hope to see you all soon. I hope you stay safe and take care of each other.